Welcome back to The Matrix. This week we're going to try something a little bit different. If you haven't noticed, stretching a piece of trivia to 15 minutes is sort of the name of the game in this web series. But what do you do when you have a joke that's so small, a piece of trivia so slight and stupid that it's not even worth my time? You bundle them up. Here are 5 rejected Broke Canon facts. It's the Broke Canon bargain bin. For instance, the Cronk Burger from Series 1, Episode 7.
Oi mate, how much is a Cronk Burger? 2 credits 20, sweetheart. Now join the queue.
Now that's what I call minutia. But what if I told you this thing keeps showing up prior to and after 2005? Doctor Who and the Iron Legion is a Doctor Who magazine comic strip featuring an alternate Rome, where the Roman Empire has colonized the galaxy centuries before their time. According to the strip, released in 1979, one of the first discoveries Romans made was the Cronk Burger. Now this could mean one of two things. The Romans arrived at the Doctor Who future and started eating the future burgers. Or, this version of Rome pioneered the Cronk Burger, just like they did ducts and roads and Rome. Whoever invented them, they're definitely vegan friendly, because the Doctor eats one. Both the 4th and the 13th Doctors expressed a love of Cronk Burgers. The Doctor considers them one of the great wonders of the universe, and has, apparently taken lots of companions to go and eat them.
Where did you say we'll go next? Because I was thinking snowball fight at the top of Everest, then teaching Galileo Bohemian Rhapsody.
Cronk Burger date at Yaz's. Sorry. That audio clip there was the single reward of the Find the Doctor ARG they did last year. Oh, and also this JPEG. Thrilling additions to lore. But I find it cute that it keeps getting brought up anytime the Doctor goes to anything that's vaguely considered the future. The earliest depiction of the Cronk Burger is around the 21st, 22nd century, but they're also in the long game, which is set in the year 200,000. We know people were eating Cronk Burgers in the 23rd century, because Rose is working undercover as a waitress in Night of the Whisper. There's a detective Jadoon who goes sort of like rogue with the Doctor, and he keeps asking for Cronk Burgers in Judgment of the Jadoon. That one's set in the 25th century. And I'm just going to pretend I looked that up on the TARDIS wiki, because actually remembering that would be incredibly sad, wouldn't it? And then the 150th century in Last Odo. Haha, dudes be eating burgers. This book tells me there's a character called Kevin the Black Shadow Monster who eats nothing but Cronk Burgers. And in the tribulations of Thaddeus Nook, we have Cronk Burgers in even the 21st century. The Romans invent an overnight fast food phenomenon at some point in the next 100 years that sticks around until the heat death of the universe. And I am fucking all here for it. I need to taste one of those things pronto. The Cronk Burger is this episode's greatest legacy. Russell T Davies made a deep dive reference in his first season to the 1979 comic strip. That, or it's a total coincidence, and he just thought the word sounded funny. He wouldn't be the last. And yeah, that's the segment, everybody. Welcome to the kind of standards you can expect from these videos. Are you new here? Fact number 2. The historical that backfired. The Ashes of Eternity is one of those stories that went by completely unnoticed. In this one, the Ninth Doctor and Rose are tracking a phoenix, a firebird, brought to 1980s Northumberland by the Doctor, who has become possessed by said firebird.
Burn with me, Martha.
Cue characters saying, "I know you're still in there," breaking free and saving the day through the power of love and self-identity. But this is an accidental apocalypse, an alien incursion completely brought about by the Ninth Doctor. Whilst trying to show off for his new companion Rose, he deflects a comet coming towards Earth, an impact that would end the 1980s and put a premature end to hair metal, presumably. So we're already interfering with the course of human history. Good start. And this intergalactic interference invites an alien presence called the Solitract. No? The Solonite. the sodomite. Probably not that last one. The two crash in Northumberland, where they meet Peggy, a bereaved woman painting alone in her farmhouse. But there's something different about her.
I'm the doctor. This is Rose, and you must be Peggy Aitken.
After an 80-minute adventure about the subtleties of grief, Peggy is killed by the Firebird, and her house burns down with her and her paintings still inside.
She sacrificed everything, Rose said. She gave up her life. No one will ever know what she did. We know, the doctor replied. It's like the legend of the Phoenix.
It's also purposely vague as to whether she's a real historical painter. But the doctor knows who she is. The doctor knows her work well, implying she wasn't meant to die here. The doctor and his companion met a famous historical figure, brought danger to their doorstep, got them killed in the crossfire, and as a result, Rose comes from a world without this historical figure. Her and her life's work of historically significant paintings burn. Whoops. That's like if the Doctor fed the manuscript of Oliver Twist to the Guelph, and then fed Charles Dickens to the Guelph. Look, Doctor, I'm confused. So, words matter, but paintings don't? I find it really interesting that there's a story set in the past, where things do get wrong, where the web of history is not preserved, at the cost of the legacy of a successful British painter from Northumberland.
But it's not like I've changed history. Not much, I mean...
I'm starting to learn where Rose picked it up. I'll tell you what, the Doctor and Rose go on a right old tour of all of England's poets and authors. Oscar Wilde, Bram Stoker, Charles Dickens, Emily Bronte, Shakespeare. A lot of historical artists, let's just say that. And surprisingly, Rose is really well read. Ha, little flower pun there. No, I mean in terms of arts and culture. She's always wanted to go to the opera, a massive Emily Bronte fan. Rose Tyler read all of the classics by age 19, which is convenient, as Revival Who is mostly about meeting famous authors, with some aliens on the side. Fact number 3. The tragic history of the TARDIS food machine. God, when I started this series back in 2020, I did not think it was going to end up here. And now, a clip from a video I released last month. So I've searched up the food machine on the TARDIS wiki.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to know. You just don't want to know how long this page is.
Is there going to be a bro canon on the food machines and the TARDIS? I'd watch that.
I don't even think I'm that desperate, you know?
That's like season 5.
We're doing it. The food replicator machine was a device installed in TARDISes which produced bars of food. Commonly seen back in the Hartnell run, the food machine makes sadly fewer appearances throughout the rest of the show. It's sad, I consider him one of the original bunch. Team TARDIS. Sometimes, Ian just needs to go to the water cooler, have a little awkward chat about the fate of the universe, or Susan running around with a knife, and the food machine was the place to do it. According to Sharda, and this might just be my favourite Doctor Who fact ever, the food machines went defunct the second that Gallifrey invented the TARDIS kitchen. That's like top 5 Douglas Adams jokes right there. But even beyond that, I went looking to see if there was a canonical, in-universe explained reason why the Doctor stopped using the TARDIS food machine. And lo and behold, there is. Multiple. According to Lawrence Miles, the TARDIS food machine wanders around the corridors of the TARDIS, going for little walks and getting lost. When Victorian miscreant Thomas Brewster stole the TARDIS, he started selling things off in the market, the food machine being one of them. According to Time Reef, he gets it back, but also clarifies to Nyssa for canonical purity reasons that he could easily build another. And then there's the noble send-off to our brave food machine, a character I like to envision as being like a Wallace and Gromit gizmo. The 4th Doctor, when visiting the planet Drummond, left the food machine behind nobly, so it could serve the homeless people of the planet. Doctor Who continuity is post-parody. People rag on Star Wars for giving every little trash can an important backstory, but I honestly think Doctor Who gives it a run for its money. The food machine, a box in the corner of the original set, has a hero's journey, a hero's sacrifice, and about 10 different reasons as to where it went off to where it did. Its last appearance is gathering mould in the Doctor's TARDIS, as the Doctor's previous attempts to fix it with Rose and Rose the cat didn't go so well. Is there nothing in this godforsaken franchise that is sacred? PERI is the real founding father of America. Okay, so Six and PERI have met Christopher Columbus twice, completely unrelated, also very contradictory. One of which is the excellent Trouble in Paradise, in which Six tells PERI that you've just made yourself instrumental to the creation of the United States, per William Brown. Something I'm sure she appreciates, as she's experienced the travesties of the Civil War and slavery up close in their travels. But I really wanted to talk to you about Doctor Who The History Tour, an 11-part narrative comedy comic series by Tim Quinn and Dickie Howitt. In an attempt to finally educate PERI Brown, the Sixth Doctor takes her all over her own history, the entire history of the universe, from Dalek Wars to prehistoric man. But it becomes notable and extremely funny that the lessons are filled with lots of misinformation. The Doctor, or should I say Doctors, he brings in 3 for a little guest appearance lesson, can probably be considered unreliable narrators, in that they're imparting partially false information for shits and giggles. At one point, 3 casually tells PERI that the Regency had TV. According to the Doctor, America wasn't actually discovered by Columbus, PERI, or the Vikings, but instead Fred Crampton, a mill worker from Huddersfield. Fred Crampton? I've never heard of him. How come the history books never mentioned him? Mainly because America didn't want to be discovered yet. And then they impale the colonizer. Okay, now, is that an incredibly funny joke on the Sixth Doctor's part to himself? Or was that a previous adventure of his that went wrong? Because it's very specific. So, 2 Doctors come together and risk a world-ending paradox to mess with PERI. Here's some of the information. Event 1. Back before the Big Bang, before even Joan Collins was born. Again, canon or joke? This is the thin line I walk with Doctor Who frequently. The explosion that started the universe. It contains bits of Adric. Okay, great. We know for a fact that one isn't true. This first lesson is about the creation of all life. At one point, PERI steps on nucleus jelly and sets human evolution back 50 million years. Though to be fair, she helped create the United States, so nothing new there. In the second one, we meet Christopher Columbus again, revealing that the Doctor helped out by lending him the TARDIS to finish the voyage. As for America, apparently the Doctor considers the true founding fathers of the place to be Steven Spielberg, Ronald McDonald, E.T., all flesh and blood in front of them. We know the extents the Doctor Who will go to with intellectual properties. Even the mouse, which my girlfriend will be thrilled about, I'm sure.
And who do I find? Mickey Mouse!
The Doctor also spots Superman. Again, it's a comedy strip, but it's a narrative comedy strip, so the line's a bit blurrier. So it's in that grey line where I do consider it a story in its own right. Maybe it's the land of fiction, but I don't know, Steven Spielberg's also there, so... Thank you to the Scrooge McDuck wiki for preserving this image. It's an invaluable resource. And in the final chapter, they return to the then modern day of 1988, and mostly talk about television, including the 1960s TV franchise, based on the Doctor's adventures. Next fact. Jesus, doing these rapid fire is like a hurricane for my brain. This one's a bit milder and talking about, I guess, promotional material? We usually have a rule against that, but this one's strange. Martha Jones had a MySpace page. This blog was BBC official, and included Martha talking about her travels with the Doctor, sometimes in great detail.
The virus, put it online, it'll destroy every mention of me. I'll cease to exist.
What do you want to do that for?
Because you're right, I am dangerous. I don't want anybody following me.
These fictional blog posts were written by Joseph Ledster. They carried references towards not only Series 3 of Doctor Who, but also a couple of the novels, and described adventures we never saw in television, including a run-in with the White Guardian, the Terrible Zodin, and Badger Pirates, which sound lol random, but are actually the antagonists of the BBC book The Pirate Loop. Please read The Pirate Loop. Not only because it's an excellent book, but also because it makes reference towards Martha's MySpace page, and the fact that the Doctor doesn't approve. Good thing there's nobody villainous tracking Martha and her family around this time. Although you can't read these entries in their entirety anymore, through the Way Back machine I am currently looking at Martha Jones' MySpace page. I didn't realise she was 24. Usually the Doctor likes them younger, the creep. But I'm also discovering that, among other things, Martha Jones is an Aquarius and is friends with Charlie Brooker. Sure, there's really interesting character dynamics explored with her and her relation to her family. We never will find out what the fuck happened to Leo in the year that never was. But Martha kept up her MySpace. She kept the blog going whilst she was crossing the whole world as a fugitive from the Master. She also managed to find time to update it within the events of Utopia and Sound of Drums. In the first, I'm just amazed it's Wi-Fi. In the second, she's a wanted person, meant to be going off the grid. House blown up, family kidnapped, face on the news. Well, better update MySpace. Here, Jack, give us your laptop. Thank you for watching. These videos just keep getting longer and longer because they spiral out like my stream of consciousness. If you like the longer uploads, feel free to give me a pat on the head or a donation on my Ko-fi page. Here are some people who have done just that. Such as Paradise Judge, who's a mythic hero in some parts of Greece. Andy Luke, famous for writing the dictionary. And Jack Alexander, who's as slick as Gaston, as quick as Gaston, and his neck is incredibly thick, such as Gaston. Thank you for watching, see you next time.